All right, we're going to continue with our module unit concerning access tools. This is part two. Part one, we explored the Gill Find online catalog, where you learn to use the Gill catalog to find resources that are located in the CSU libraries. We're going to switch gears now and we're going to explore the Galileo databases, which is also an access tool. Remember a few things about Galileo. Galileo is not the name of a particular database. It's the name of a collection of databases. And within those databases, you have access to over 350 of those databases in which your tuition dollars help to pay for these rather expensive resources. But each of these databases have their own names, and they're represented by vendor companies that provide access to the resources within the databases that they offer. Also understand that Galileo, that each database is not a website. When you think about, there's a huge difference between a website and a database. A database is basically, consider it a bag that holds individual resources, where a website tends to be a resource itself, for example. But let's go ahead and get started with this access tool. Again, we're back at the CSU Libraries homepage. If you go to resources over to the left and click the drop down menu, you will see a link for Galileo Databases. But also when you visit the library homepage, you can also go to Galileo Databases here to access this collection. This is great when you're on campus. If you live in the dorms, you're close to the server, you can do this. However, if you're off campus, especially if you're an online student and you do not live in the Columbus area or anywhere near Columbus State University libraries, if you're not on campus, you'd have to authenticate. The best way to do that is to log into your CougarNet email account. So I'm going to show you how you would do that for anyone off campus, which most of you in this online class will probably have to do this. You'll go to CougarNet, log into your CougarNet email account, and from here you're going to see a tab that's labeled Campus Information. Once you click Campus Information, you're going to see a link for library. And for here, you will see a link for Galileo databases. So when you're off campus accessing the databases, this is how you do that. Now for the Gill Find catalog and the Gill Express catalog, those links are here, but you do not have to be on campus in order to access these resources. Okay, but for Galileo you do, because these resources aren't just available to just anybody. I mean, if anybody lives in China, if they live in Hawaii, or if they live anywhere in the Middle East, they can access our Gill Find catalogs just to see what we have. However, for Galileo databases, you have to be affiliated with CSU because we subscribe to these resources, so it's not just available to just anyone. So when you're off campus, is how you will access the Galileo databases. I'm going to log out of my account here and get back to the CSU webpage. Hold on a moment. I think I kind of overstepped that a little bit. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and choose Galileo Databases. And as you see, we offer you many different ways to access the databases. You know, some of you might be familiar already with searching the databases in Galileo. You may have even a few databases that you use all the time, whether it's ProQuest Research Library, Academic Search Complete, Science Full Text. There are a lot of different databases here. As a matter of fact, if we go to the tab Databases A to Z, you'll see here, if you click this link, All Databases, you will see a name for each database we subscribe to on your behalf to help support you in your programs of study. None of these databases are named Galileo, and I'm going to tell you in a moment why that's important. But if we scroll down here, there are a lot of different databases you have access to, and I'm just going to go to the bottom here. 365 databases, okay, that you have access to. Now, why is it important to understand that Galileo is not the name of a database? Well, we have to thank our friends APA, MLA, Chicago, Turabian. First of all, when you retrieve an online article from an online database, it's an electronic article from a database, APA and MLA wants you to cite the name of the database where you retrieved that article. And putting Galileo is not correct. Okay, because basically this is Galileo. It's just the name of the collection. You're not telling the researcher that may need to use your citations from your research. You're not telling them anything about pointedly, in any detail where you got that resource. So for example, if we were to go into Academic Search Complete, and if we found a scholarly article that we needed, if we're going to use it in any of our research or in any project, we have to not only include the citation for the article, but we also have to put the name of the database and the date in which we retrieved it. If you refer to your APA and MLA citation style guides, they will have a rule. You probably see something mentions concerned. Let's see, it may say how to cite an article from an aggregated database. These are aggregated databases where resources are aggregated or brought together under one. Okay. I want to go as we further take an introductory look into the Galileo databases. Again, as I said here, we kind of allow you many different ways to access the databases. So if you are looking for a particular name of a database, they're all listed here in alphabetical order. Let's go browse by type. We also categorize them by type, which means we hold different types of information here. Okay, so for example, we have electronic almanacs. We have an ebook database here. We have online dictionaries, encyclopedias. We also have newspaper databases. If you just want to look at newspaper databases, you can click this here and you'll get a set of those databases. Also, if there are multimedia databases that you can search as well, that will provide you with films. We also have images and art databases and music databases as well. So there's a lot of good stuff here. For example, let's go to the multimedia database collection. So for example, there are videos. For example, there's the C-SPAN video collection. We also have listed here the American Memory database, which is also part of the Library of Congress. Remember, we recently, in a module, we visited in the beginning online databases, and I had you go to the Library of Congress. And you'll find that here. If you go to the Library of Congress online digital library, you'll also find American Memory here. But this right here, we've listed this here as a free resource if you need to look for images, maps, and anything concerning American history. That's listed here too. But I want to bring you to one of my favorite databases. And on your assignment, you will be asked to visit this database as well, Films on Demand. Love this database. This is where you're going to find a lot of educational videos, and don't sleep on this database. There's a lot of good stuff here. A lot of educational film from a lot of different resources. For example, I'm going to go to featured producers just to give you an idea of where some of these films are originated. We have TED Talks. We have videos from Nova, NBC News, National Geographic, the History Channel, BBC, American Experience, ABC News, PBS, a lot of good stuff here. And when you look into the collections, there are videos in a lot of different subject and discipline areas. So we have anthropology, area studies, environmental science, sociology, psychology, political science, for example. As a matter of fact, let's go to environmental science just so you can see how the collections are set up. So we're going to click on environmental science, which is a collection. Okay. And within environmental sciences, there are other subset areas. We have ecosystems, environmental problems and management, natural resources, survey and basic concepts. So let's say if we were to go to ecosystems, there's human population, physical environment and systems, populations, communities, and biodiversity. So why don't we, under ecosystems, let's go to populations, communities, and biodiversities. Okay. And as we see here, we get a list of videos just pertaining to this subject area here, populations, communities, and biodiversity. So if we look in the first video here, creating a new cultural narrative, we're going to click on this video here. And what I like about Films on Demand, you don't have to watch the entire video. Like we see here, this video is 38 minutes, 39 seconds. But over here in the segments, it breaks it down into different different segments here by minutes. So let's say the first 56 seconds, you get to meet the author of this video subject here. Rights of Nature movement, that's 2 minutes and 50 seconds. So you can narrow down on each segment, and what you get here is also a nice annotation or summary of that second. So you can choose any pieces and parts of the video that you need. Okay, and that kind of helps you to go through the video instead of having to guess and actually sit through the entire video. Okay. For example, I'm not sure about emailing, creating you can create a playlist, you can have a favorite, embedding it. They're really funny about that. It doesn't always work. However, what I do like is when you click the citation feature, it will cite this particular video for you. So this shows you by MLA how you would do it. If you want to choose Chicago, it will format it that way for you. So this is very neat here. But because this is a subscription database, embedding the video anywhere on another website, it only works if those who have access to the video can actually log into the database. If they don't, they're going to get a window where it asks them for a password. So you have to be really careful about that. So again, this is one neat video feature that you're going to find in the Galileo databases. And this is just a brief introduction for Galileo. In our next Galileo video, we're going to actually go into more databases, and we're going to talk a little bit about other features such as Journal A to Z, and we're going to visit a particular database. Actually, we're going to visit Academic Search Complete. But again, this is your introduction to the Galileo databases, and I behoove all of you to go further than what you're going to see in the video tutorials here. This is just an introduction, but it's up to you and your responsibility to just explore even further into the databases.